and welcome to the FOMO Creator Show. My name is Making Sang, first name May King, and I am your host for today. How are you? Have you had a good week? Now, today we have got the incredible Amanda Webb, who is going to be talking about how to create FOMO with your Google Analytics. But before we talk to Amanda, let's talk about how we met, which is the first segment of the show. So, if we just bring up a few of these photographs, just to show the wonderful memories of the two of us. Hello, Amanda. How are you, my lovely?
Hello, thanks so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here and look at all those photographs. There's one I'm really glad you didn't include, which is us at 80s night in San Diego, because I think I look terrible in that photo. So thank you for not including that one.
Now, we've known each other for quite a while, and I'm a subscriber of your email list, and you very kindly wrote an email about the first time we met. So I don't know if you wanted to walk through that wonderful memory.
Yes, the first thing I thought about when I was putting this story together this morning was that the bar in San Diego has moved. I don't know why I'm telling you that. I'm sure it's irrelevant, but in my head, it's important. So I'm at my second year at Social Media Marketing World, and I see a crowd in the corner, and they're all gathering around my friends, Andrew and Pete, who I think most of you probably know, Andrew and Pete. And it's not unusual for them to draw a crowd because they're quite funny and interesting. They're also stupidly young and annoyingly young. So I went, actually, I want to have a chat with Andrew and Pete. So I went over, and it wasn't Andrew and Pete at all that was drawing the crowd. It was this woman with her sparkly beret, her red lipstick, and she was laughing. And everyone was like, oh my God, I have to catch this. I mean, it's Social Media Marketing World. They're grabbing the phone. So there was one particularly drunk girl who was trying to get like an audio recording of it. I think she was failing every time. And it was always like, now, laugh. So eventually I got to talk to Andrew and Pete, and I got to meet you, which was fabulous. And that was the first time we met, and we've met a few times, once or twice since, I believe.
We have, and we've got San Diego here, we've got Newcastle, we've got Dublin as well, and we've met in London as well. So yeah, lots of different places that we've hung out together. Now, before we carry on, Amanda, if you'd like to tell the world what it is you do, my lovely.
I want to say my name is Amanda, and but that always sounds a bit dodgy. I am a digital marketing ROI consultant, trainer, mentor. And that means that I help small businesses like yours get more money, more return on the time, the energy, and the cash that they're spending on their marketing. And right now, because it's very prominent, I was trying to count the days earlier. I think it's about 53 days until Google Analytics makes the switch over to Google Analytics 4. So right now I'm totally focused on helping businesses make that transition to understand their analytics better so they can make better decisions about their marketing. That's it. That's me.
So, for those of us who haven't been counting down the days, what's the significance of the switchover?
This is a big one. So it's almost Universal Analytics, or you might call it Old Analytics or Universal Analytics 3. It's kind of been the same since Google bought it from a company called Urchin like many moons ago. And they have updated it, but they keep bolting new bits on. So any other previous updates, it was kind of like a new section or a slightly different layout. But Google Analytics 4, they built from the bottom up, from scratch. So it's almost like they got rid of all the bad code and they've just built something new and shiny. And that's in response to the climate for measurement has changed, because of course now we've got privacy controls. People care about their privacy. I want to say people always cared about their privacy, but actually they didn't really. But now people do. So we've got things like cookie blockers, which makes the whole landscape of measuring stuff a lot more complicated. And then we've got things like GDPR, which means like there are things within Universal Analytics that could be considered not GDPR compliant. So they built this up with these new strategies in there. There's also, trendiest thing ever, AI involved in Google Analytics 4, so it can start making predictions if you are an e-commerce story, or if you sell directly on your website, this is fabulous because it can start making predictions about your customers in the future, and it can start building on the data it has to give you a better idea of what might happen in the future, who you should be attracting. And then of course it connects to all your other Google services. Now, I'm an analytics expert. I'm not an expert in any of the other areas, but it's really good that it's like this one-stop shop. But it's horribly confusing when you log in for the first time. When I logged in for the first time, I was like, it looks the same, but nothing is the same. So that's where I come in. I'm there to help you navigate your way around, understand how it works. And also, if you've never used analytics before, you're almost better off because you're going straight into this system where you can start understanding what people are doing on your website and how you can drive more traffic there, how you can maybe use Instagram more. Maybe that's the channel that's working for you the best. Maybe you've got blog content. Is that working? Are your lead magnets working? Is any of the time that you are actually spending on your marketing delivering sales? And that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Wonderful. Now, we're going to be talking about in this next segment the ABCs of FOMO, and this is just to illustrate. I mean, quite clear. It's quite clear, Amanda. You know your stuff. You know your stuff very, very well. And so the A of the ABCs is authentic authority. And just before we go there, we've got a regular fan of the show, the fabulous Tim, saying hello. So it's lovely to see you there, Tim. So you display your authentic authority by having your digital marketing news show every Friday. So wondered if you wanted to talk a little bit about that, Amanda.
I suppose this is an interesting one because I haven't always been the ROI specialist. In fact, my business has gone through so many iterations at this stage. I've finally settled on this one because it's the one that I finally settled on analytics because it's the one that has saved me the most time and means that I get time off, which I never got before. But previous to that, I was the blogging expert, the Facebook ads expert, the Facebook organic expert. I went through so many, I'm in business 14 years, so that's a few years in each before I settled on the one thing that works. And for I think it's 7 years, it could be 8 years of that business, of those different things that I did, I've been running this show, The Digital Coffee. And all that is it's a social media and digital marketing news show where we share the things that you need to know for your business this week that are changing in the world of digital marketing. So we might have a little fun one about a new sticker on Instagram, but really it's all about things that you can practically use or things that can teach us how to be better at business. So sometimes it could be something Elon Musk has done that can tell us actually that's a really bad idea for business, or this is a really good idea for business, is to run your business this way, because not everything he does is bad, really. Well, mostly, but not really. So that's the idea of the show. It's not just saying this is what's changed. It's telling you how that you can implement that in your business. And as time's gone on, I've added in, stuff, more analytics stuff. This week we have a story about analytics, but it's all stuff you can practically use. That's the benefit of it. And yeah, it's a live show. I kind of like live because things go wrong, as you know, nothing's gone wrong yet, fingers crossed, but I kind of like that. And it builds that real connection with your audience because you do get people like Tim showing up and leaving comments and asking questions and joining in and being part of the party. So that's what I really love about it. And the other thing I love about it is it gets me customers. Like almost every single person who gets in touch with me to work with me has seen either the digital coffee or part of the repurposed content that goes with the digital coffee. And they feel like they know me and they feel like I'm the sort of person they want to work with. So that's the real reason that 8 years on, after 3 or 4 different iterations of my business, I still do it.
Amazing. And you mentioned about having a feature about analytics this week. In response to that, Tim thought that the ABCs of FOMO, A was analytics. Now he
it's
also
Amanda.
supported.
A is Amanda, right? Right.
A is for Amanda. That's exactly right. Now, in support of your your iterations of your business. Tim was saying that I think a large part of business is trying a lot of things to find out what you are best at. And you're absolutely right. I mean, Tim's gone through a few iterations, and Amanda, you've gone through a few iterations, and we mustn't be afraid of that, really, should we? And then we've also got Tim saying that E is for Elon Musk commentary, and we're going to be talking more about that on our digital coffee aftershot show, but more about that later, because we're going to talk about the B in the ABCs of FOMO. That's the next segment. So what does B stand for? No, it's not BTS, the K-pop global sensation, but B is for behind the scenes. So Amanda, I wondered whether you could go through, especially the picture on the top left hand corner, a few little behind the scenes shots you have here. If you just want to walk us through this, it's a lovely montage.
Yeah, I think the top left hand shot, we have a similar work companions. So I love cats. I have 3 cats. They are like my bestest buddies apart from my other half. Like they are, it's great to have them around, but they do get in the way of work. So that's Bjork upskilling on her social media. I'm watching some sort of training video there, and she is getting involved. So the 2 of them there, or one of them at the bottom left is me preparing for a speech for a digital conference that I was giving. So I just thought that you could see my setup. Nobody sees that side of the camera. They always see this side of my camera. So what I'm looking at is what you can see in that shot, and the top middle one, which is me preparing for the digital coffee last week as well. So that's the other side of this camera. So that's the big window that on a nice sunny day throws enough light that I don't have to have these lights on. But today, sadly, it's not sunny. 2 of my favorite clients. I love all my clients, actually. I don't have a favorite client. Sorry, I just said that. One of my favorite clients below is Well Shot Photography Academy. So that was when they came to Dublin, and we did like an intensive 2-day working together session to optimize some of their pages and look at products that they could sell. And then on the right, that's me speaking at Kickstart Dublin. I do a lot of speaking. And like selfishly, that's one that that's an event I ran myself, which actually somebody I know was a keynote there. She was really good. Can't remember her name. Something to do with FOMO anyway. So that's me speaking. So I do a lot of sitting in the office, as you can see, but I do go out sometimes, see clients, speak at events.
Because we often have that stereotype of an analytics nerd, and all they do is sit in their basement with no light.
That is me a little bit. I do have the light, but yeah, that is me a little bit. I like it. Yeah.
Wonderful. So for the next segment of the show, we've gone through A for authority, B for BTS, which is behind the scenes, and C is create content for the lurkers. Now, when it comes to us showcasing our work, we do have a lot of lurkers online, and I know that some of the lurkers have become your clients, Amanda. So I just wondered if you wanted to talk through a little bit about this presentation here.
Well, I suppose firstly, I should say most of my lurkers come to the digital coffee. So the digital coffee, that is my flagship content. That's like I break it down. There's so many different bits of content I create from that. And yeah, the people who contact me aren't always the people that are commenting in the feed. They're just people that have seen the show and move on. So that's the first thing. Very often you can get a little bit disheartened if you are live streaming and there's not many people watching live, or nobody's leaving comments. That can be kind of painful, but actually really doesn't matter as long as they're contacting you and buying from you. So that's the first thing. I'm a big fan of the lurkers. You are my favorite people if you're watching now. But this is just 3 examples of content that I've shared related to things that either I sell or things that I'm giving away. I try and have some sort of brand consistency. Firstly, my face, which I think for a lot of us, we don't really realize how important it is, because people do want to know the people they're doing business with. And that's, I would say it's a trend for 2023, but I remember speaking at an event about 5 years ago and saying it was a trend. So it's kind of like It's not a trend, it's here to stay. So my face is important because my business is me. And then I stick to my color scheme as well. LinkedIn is my primary network. I've been a bit lazy. Well, I wouldn't say lazy. I've not been spending as much time on LinkedIn recently because I've been developing a new course, which we'll talk about in a bit. In fact, it's listed there. But I'm back in action now. And I really do find that LinkedIn is a rich place. So I make sure that I share stuff there that is hopefully going to drive people to find out more about me or get to know more about what I do. And that's important, right? Because the digital coffee doesn't tell you what I do. Digital coffee gets you to know who I am. Later on, I have to tell people what I'm going to do. So these are 3 sales posts. Believe me, it isn't all I share on LinkedIn. I share the same nonsense as everyone else. But these are 3 sales posts that can educate the audience that I've engaged with a lot about what it is that I do. And it's from a measurement point of view, that's important because I can see not just how much traction I get on those things, but how much traffic comes from LinkedIn, how much that traffic converts, how many direct messages I get in response. So from an analytics point of view, I love that too.
Wonderful. Now, the next segment of the show is probably best described by this wonderful video. Mark? Back to the FOMO.
Hang on, Monty. I should have gone this way.
Now, actually, just finishing off the last segment
Scott.
where we
Sorry.
talked about the ABCs. Tim was convinced that C is for cats, which is probably true. Probably true.
Yes, I have no like. If you don't like cats, don't tell me about it. That's all I say. You're fine, but just don't tell me.
Not me. So, Amanda, back to the FOMO then. We've talked a lot about what you do with Google Analytics, your digital marketing show, which you have every Friday. I wondered if you wanted to walk through a little bit about this slide here. These are just some of the people that you've worked with.
Yeah, so actually, one of the weird things is now I'm going to bring this back to analytics. Hope you don't mind. I'm going to bring this back to something really exciting that I've learned this week. So I found this new tool. It's not new. It may be old. I don't know. Called Microsoft Clarity. I have to tell you about this because it's the most exciting thing ever. So you can add it to your website if you've got. I'm going to get technical. If you've got Tag Manager, it's really easy. You just click a button and a couple of buttons and it links up to your website. It doesn't slow your website down like some of the tools you have to upload. And what it does is it will show you user sessions. It records user sessions. Everything's anonymized. It says it's GDPR compliant. You can't see who the user is. You can't see IP addresses. You can see what country they reside in. But you can actually view their sessions. And this has become really, so the first thing I activated it, I think, on Tuesday morning. And one of the first things I discovered was that a lot of people were clicking on my Work With Me page rather than choosing something from the drop-down menu I had, and they were landing on a terrible, terrible page. So I was able to fix that straight away, but that's got nothing to do with this screen here. Today I was watching and I was watching a recording from yesterday from somebody who actually did convert, as in they filled in an inquiry form to talk to me. And I watched them moving through my website and it was really interesting. They'd been there before, I know, because they've been in touch with me before. But this time they were looking at all the social proof on my site. So they were on the homepage and you can see how fast they scroll. And then they stopped here and they looked at all those businesses that I work with. And what I like about that is I have worked with businesses. It's not necessarily the size of the business, it's the problem that they share and the problem that they're not really getting anything from the marketing they're putting or not getting what they feel they should from the time they're putting into the marketing. So I love they spent ages looking at that before they scrolled. They spent ages looking at my testimonials. And these are all things that I'm learning now that I can optimize my website in. So I've worked with big corporations like Macmillan. I've worked with smaller, I don't know if you call them corporations, but chain stores like Carol's Irish Gifts. And I've worked with small businesses like Wellshot that I mentioned earlier on. They're all there, but they all share the same problem. And a lot of that's been training. Some of it's been consulting. Some of them have done my accelerator package, but it's all been addressing the same thing. each time.
So
I went
some of
off
the
a bit.
clients
I went a bit off topic there because I got
No.
excited when I saw this screen and went, "Oh, I tell you about the best thing ever." But there you go.
No, that's absolutely fine. So, these are some of the people that you've worked with, and you were saying that they have the same problems, no matter how big or small the clients that you've worked with. Is that right?
Yeah, and I think it comes down to that kind of muddle that you get in, and I'm sure you know it and I know it, which is why some of my website was a mess until I started looking at those recordings the other day, is that, you know, they're doing a lot of different things. They're not really focused on one particular thing, and they're not really sure why something's not working, how it could be working better, how they can streamline that process, how they can understand what's working. And that's the beauty of analytics, because that's, whether it's Google Analytics or social analytics, something like Clarity, that's what it can tell you. That can tell you where you're going wrong. That can tell you, sometimes it just takes a person like working with me to go, this is where you need to focus your energy. And that's almost without any exceptions. That's why people come to me. They're in a muddle. That's what I'd say.
And in fact, Tim has a comment to say about that. Microsoft has all sorts of useful tools that nobody knows about. So it's great to hear you so excited about Microsoft.
It's the best thing. Honestly, I'm 3 days in now. I don't know how I ever lived without it. And it's fascinating watching people go through it. Like, I've had to fix a few I see them click something, it leads them to the wrong place, and I can go, wow, and go and fix that immediately. Of course, I'm doing nothing else except for fixing my website, but
Oh wow, that is incredible. So we've talked about your digital marketing show. We've talked about how you create content for the lurkers on LinkedIn. We've talked about Microsoft Clarity, which you're very excited about.
Have I
The
given you
final segment of
FOMO
the
about Microsoft Clarity? Did I give you FOMO? Did I give anyone FOMO, Tim?
oh, the final segment of the show is FOMO promo. So Amanda, if we just bring up the banner, just wanted to explain what we've got here.
So I made a page for anyone that's watching, just for you. So if you go to spiderworking.com FOMO, there's a few things that could help you there. If you want to get started with Google Analytics, there's a free Google Analytics phrase book, because that's one of the things that's changed, is the language of Google Analytics. So you can go and get that. And I try and explain as in simple terms as possible what it all means. There's also a link to the analytics base course, which is it's affordable for any business, and it's just your introduction to Google Analytics 4. So if you've no experience in Google Analytics, or if you have switched, it will give you your basic walkthrough of what you need to do. And I think I've got a link to just join my mailing list there as well.
Wonderful. And of course, I suppose what we could do is give our collaboration a quick mention as well, because not only do you have your digital marketing show that you have every Friday, which I tune into every Friday at 9:30 at Ireland and UK time, but at 10:30 we have the LinkedIn audio of the digital marketing aftershot, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, extra shot rather.
Aftershot, is that an alcoholic drink? But it can be an aftershot if you like. So we drink. No, we don't. So that's one of my favorite times of the week, because I get to talk to Making, and we talk about the stories of the week, and we invite you to join in as well. We're just tweaking it a bit. It's soon to become a podcast once we work out how to do that. We've had a couple of failed attempts, but it will soon become a podcast. So we would welcome you to come and join in. All you need to do is, if you go to Making's LinkedIn profile, or if you sign up for my digital coffee, which you will see on my website, you will get a link to come and join at 10:30. Log in to LinkedIn, and you can request to speak. And we would love to have you so that you can contribute your thoughts about the stories that we talk about there.
Wonderful. Tim is going to be Googling Microsoft Clarity. And today is the 4th of May, which
May
is,
the
of
4th.
course, of course, Star Wars Day. And speaking of Tim, he was the fabulous guy who created the end credits, which is a nod to Star Wars. So I just want to thank you so much for your time, Amanda. I don't know if you have any final words before we end this broadcast.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Oh, thank you so much again, Amanda. It's been absolutely wonderful seeing you today. We'll just pop up the promo again, just for anybody who wants to find out more about how to move to from Google Analytics to GA4. And you've got the link there that's been written, especially in the words of Kylie and Jason, especially for you. Thank you so much, Amanda. This has been the FOMO Creator Show. My name is Making Sang, first name May King, and it leaves me to hit the credits, Mark.